you doing? Thanks so much for being here. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video lesson, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be asking a question that I get a lot. I want to let you know about it. I get a lot of guitar players who tell me that they know the scales, but they're having a hard time making them sound like music. So if you're working on your scales and you're having a hard time making them sound like music, stick around and I'll show you how to do it. You don't want to just be playing scales like this, okay? You play these all day long, you know. But the problem is trying to get them to sound like music. Now what you want to think about is every time you learn something new, especially with the guitar, it's done in steps, step by step, okay? So well, you want to ask yourself, what step are you at, okay? If you want to get to step 5, you need to complete step 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, if you're just learning your scales, that's step 1. It's kind of like, say, a child learning to walk, all right? So first of all, a child's got to learn when they first, they start crawling, they got to first learn to stand. The first thing they got to do is learn to stand, get some balance, okay? Then they got to learn to put one foot in the next, one foot in front of the next in order to walk, start walking, okay? That's step 2. Then, once they get comfortable with walking, then they can start running, that's step 3. Okay, so it's step by step, and that's what we're doing here as well, is step by step. So, if you're learning a scale, like let's just say for instance the minor pentatonic, if you don't know that, I highly recommend you learn it because it's used by all the great guitar players. So make sure that you know this scale, and I'm going to play it right here for you at the 5th fret right here. So it's 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8. You can use it in guitar solos, use it in playing rhythm. There's all kinds of great things about the scale, so make sure you know this scale. Now, that's step 1, okay? Step 2 is learning how to play it in different positions along the fretboard. So let's say you can play it here at A, then maybe play it here in G at the 3rd fret. And I would highly recommend you get that pinky going, okay? It's a finger, might as well use it, okay? I mean, you could do this with your 3rd finger, and that's not too bad when you're playing up here. But when you play down here, let's say an F or F sharp, it's kind of a stretch. So get that pinky going, okay? Notice how my arms moved in, my elbows coming in like this, so that I can bring my arm up and bring in my pinky up here like this, okay? So use that pinky, get that going. That's very, very important. Bring your elbow in so that the pinky can come up and play that 6th fret, or that 6th string, okay? And if you need, do some stretches like this too. Stretch your fingers out. I used to do this like when I was watching TV and stuff. I used to do this, okay? So make sure that you do this, do some stretches, whatever you got to do to get your fingers to utilize along the fretboard, okay? So that's step 2, being able to play it all over the fretboard. 5th fret, 3rd fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret, doesn't really matter. That's step 2. Now, step 3 is what we're working on here, making it sound musical. In order to make it sound musical, you need to learn your personality traits. That's what I call them, and what they are is your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your slides, your bends, your vibrato, trills, double stops, tons of stuff to make your scales sound like music. And if you need some more help with that, I would recommend check out my book. It's called Lead Guitar Wizardry, and I have it, a book I wrote and published, teaches you how to play lead guitar, some of the fundamental things you need to know, teach you how to make your scales sound musical, all that good stuff. You can find it on Amazon, so check that out. Now, what you want to do, like I mentioned, is hammer-ons, okay? Hammer-ons, so let's say you have the minor pentatonic scale, that's what I used to do. Now I'd play the whole scale with just hammer-ons. Pull-offs, maybe go back, pull-offs. Hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, and do that over and over all day long, with the... Now you get these down, right off the bat, you can clearly hear and see that that sounds already more musical already, okay? Doesn't matter where we're playing it at. Play it up here at the 10th fret. See, these are just pull-offs. Hammer-on pull-off. you know? And if you do it repeatedly, listen to that. That sounds musical already. Okay? Second thing, bends, string bends. Do some string bends. Bend those strings. Learn how to bend strings. That's what's cool about playing the electric guitar is it's one of the things that you do with the electric guitar that you don't do with other stringed instruments is bend the strings. You don't do it with the violin, you don't do it with the mandolin, you don't do it with the banjo, you don't do it with the piano, just with the guitar. So it's a very unique technique associated just for the guitar itself. So I would highly recommend master your string bends. And for right now, if you're just getting started, don't worry about how high you're bending them or anything. Just get used to the technique and get your fingers strengthened enough to do them. And I would start right here with the third string. Like let's say we're playing an A, third string with the third finger, bend that string up. Bend it here. Don't worry about necessarily how far to bend it. Just, get some finger strength, okay? And if you're bending on with these ones here, maybe use 2 fingers to bend. And if you need to use 2 fingers to bend here too, that's well. You can use the second finger to help with that bend. And maybe move up the fretboard like this. Now once you got that down, you got your fingers to where you can do that, then what you can do is add some hammer-ons and pull-offs with it. See, that sounds more musical already right there, okay? So work on your bends, string bends. Use 2 fingers if necessary. Maybe bend these strings down, a 6th string down, Maybe go through the pattern with just bends themselves, It takes a while. It doesn't come overnight because you got to build up some strength in your fingers, but that's a good thing to work on, okay? Work on that daily. Just work on bending those strings and getting the strength in your fingers. Then once you do that, then you can kind of determine how far you're going to bend it. Either it's the next fret. That's good ear training. See what I'm saying? So that's a good thing to do right there too. Bends. And then of course we've got slides. Slides are great. Go through the pentatonic scale or any scale that you're working on. If you know the major scale, then do it with that. Doesn't matter. Okay? Slide up, slide down. Work on that. Pick a fret and another fret you're going to slide to, and then try to slide to that fret. Like let's say I'm going to slide here to the 7th fret. Or, I'm sorry, the 9th fret right here. Back. And at the beginning of the solo for War Pigs, he does a really cool slide technique. That's a very good exercise to do. Works with slides. It goes. See, that's a great slide technique to do right there off the 5th string. Slides are great. They give you a good expression of the notes. So I would recommend doing that. Hold the string down, slide to the next one. Okay. Another one to do that's very, very important to master, vibrato. Where you kind of hit the string and kind of wiggle it up and down like this, okay? Do that with all the notes. Good ear training as well. Let you kind of get familiar with hearing the notes. Okay, so do that as well. So if you add all those together, your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your slides, your bends, vibrato, you got, trills, which is just a repeated hammer-on pull-off like that. And if you want to practice your trills, time yourself. Look at the clock and say, okay, how long can I hold this for with just this one finger? How long can you do that for? And I tell you, at first it'll be kind of hard. You won't be able to do it for very long. But as you keep doing it every day, towards the end of the week, you'll be able to increase your time more and more and more, and help build strength and dexterity in your fingers. And then once you got all that together, you start putting it together. Also, play it up at the second octave up here. If you're playing A minor pentatonic here at the 5th fret, also play it up here at the 17th fret, which is the same thing up here, same thing. That also helps for air training as well, because it gives you more places to play it, okay? And work on your alternate picking, because that's how you build speed. If you don't have alternate picking, you can only play so fast. So if you want to build speed, you've got to work on your alternate picking, okay? What I usually do is I try to keep my hand close to the fret, up to the body of the guitar, play with the tip of the pick, okay? And I usually don't really have too much of the pick sticking out. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but there's not too much pick there. I'm holding most of it so that I don't get a lot of friction when I'm doing across the strings. And that's the only way you're really going to build speed, is to really work on your alternate picking, and then you work on your alternate picking to the point where it becomes tremolo picking. Well, you don't want to drop your pick like that, but you know what I mean. Alright, so there we have it. A few techniques there, a few things to help you make your scales sound more musical. So remember, once again, step by step, okay? So always ask yourself, what step on my end? Am I step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, okay? And proceed from there. It's kind of like going to school. You know, you start with grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. If you come in at grade 5 and you haven't learned 1 through 4, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Okay, there's going to be gaps in your learning. So make sure that if you've done that, which a lot of people do, okay, a lot of people want to jump to playing songs right away and they don't go through the fundamentals and they miss a lot of stuff, okay? And what that does is it creates gaps in your learning. And it's going to catch up to you later on. Like right now, you might say, oh, I don't need it right now. But trust me, you're going to come across a song, you're going to come across something you want to learn, and there's going to be a gap there because you didn't learn it in the beginning. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure you go step by step. It's very, very important, okay? And if you need some help with that, like I said, this book here that I wrote, Lead Guitar Wizardry, it's a great book. It's step by step, teaches you all the stuff you need to know about how to play lead guitar. I've got the diagrams in there and the tabs and stuff, so it's very easy to understand, and it teaches you step by step how to do this stuff and to sound like play some really good lead guitar playing. So work on that, and if you want to check that out, like I said, you can find that on Amazon. I'll leave a link below for that. But make sure you just work on those personality traits. If you're at the step right now, at step 3, where you say, I know the scales, I can play it up and down the fretboard, great. Now work on your personality traits, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bends, vibrato, all that stuff. That stuff is going to make it sound like music. All right? So keep practicing, and you have yourself a good one, and I'll see you in our next lesson.